So I'm going to give him a call. I am calling him all the way over in America. He is in Rhode Island. Really is incredibly inspiring.
Hello?
Hey, Ace, it's Claire.
Thank
you. We're good. Thank you that you're going to share your experience with people and tell us just really, the situation you're in. Tell us about when you were originally diagnosed and what happened.
I was originally diagnosed in 2005. I had a seizure out of nowhere. I never had a seizure before. I was with my sister, Lindsay, at the time, and working with her, same job. So we got home at the same time that day. The day I wasn't feeling too well. I just didn't know what was going on. But out of nowhere, I had a seizure. I didn't know it when it was going on because you don't know when you have a seizure.
How old were you how old were you when it first happened?
25.
25, and now you're in your 30s.
38, yeah. So we got home at the same time. She was cooking dinner, and I had a seizure out of nowhere. And we used to talk like back and forth when she was cooking the dinner, but we were talking, and I just said a word. I think it was hi or something like that, or hey or something like that, and I just kept repeating like a skipping record. So I could see her approaching me. But I couldn't do anything. I could see my arms and my hands moving in a weird way. I had a full-blown grand mal seizure. And then the EMTs got there, and they told me when I got up that I did have a full-blown grand mal seizure. I didn't believe it at first because I thought I just blacked out. But anyways, they took me into the ambulance and took me to the emergency room to the scan. Said they saw a mass, and they said we got to do an MRI to figure out, exactly what it is. So I did the MRI, and then they came back in the room with my mom and my sister and told us that I had a brain tumor the size of a golf ball.
Before you got diagnosed, what were you doing before? So obviously this was all out of the blue. And anyone, if they don't know who you are, you're an artist. You make music and you're incredibly entertaining. I love your music. And so just to go back before, what were you doing that then obviously this must have changed your life in a massive way?
Well, I was doing music, but I was doing music with the wrong people, meaning they wanted me to do street music because that's where I grew up. I grew up in the projects and, what we call here the hood. So I grew up with meager means of growing up. My dad left my mom at an early age, so we didn't have much. But so I was doing, we do that kind of music and that kind of like what we call here street music. So, and I had the talent, just none of the people around me had the talent to do it. They just were kind of guiding me in the wrong direction. So, kind of using me in a way. So once I had my seizure, I had time to think. Obviously, I had more time than I did before to stay in the hospital and think about what I wanted to do with my talent and my gifts. And that's when I realized that, being around all these people that are just completely helpless with this situation, and because it comes out of nowhere, as most people know. So,
how long did you wait then? Like, what was their procedure? Did they decide you needed to go and have just treatment? Did you go straight to have surgery? What did they do?
I was in the hospital for 3 days. They didn't do anything. They didn't treat me for anything. But my surgeon came up with the fact that he had much more pressing surgeries that were lined up in the next few days. So just to send me home for a few weeks. And I had the surgery 3 weeks after I went into the emergency room on December 7th of 2005.
So when is it that you found out that you had cancer? Because obviously when you first find out, they don't know it's cancer at first. They're not sure. It could be either benign or cancer.
No, the first time they didn't know. They just said it was a low-grade tumor, which meant, it's benign, which means non-cancerous. So then they just removed the mass as much as they could and just sent me home with a treatment, like a therapy plan to, wait till I could start working out and getting back to myself again. And then in 2016, he came back in October. They had a second craniotomy resection on November 16th of 2006. And that's when they knew it was cancerous because it came back so quick.
So it was in the same place that you had the first time?
Absolutely.
So they've seen you, so then they've said to you, you've got to do it, you've got to go through it again, which must have been incredibly frightening. Like,
it was more to my mom and the people around me. I mean, I was scared. I'm not going to say I wasn't scared, but I didn't show it in front of them. I showed it when I was in the waiting room, like, by myself, and the operating waiting room. Not the actual waiting room where people can sit with you, but when they weigh you down in the bed. I was more scared. It's just like, it's all these bright lights and everything, and you're sitting there thinking, is this the end? Thinking so many things, but that's one of the things I was thinking, is how I'm going to die, unfortunately. But I was at peace with it at that point, because I'd already gone through it once before. So I sat there in the bed, and then all of a sudden, my surgeon came around the corner, and he put his hand on my leg, and he said, "You ready?" I said, "Yep, I'm ready." He said, "Well, I'm ready to see this thing out of you so you can live the rest of your life." So I got a little more calm with that, but then when I got to the operating room with all those lights, bright lights and stuff in your face, and all those people around you, you kind of get more nervous. They were more upbeat, though, which made me feel better in a way. I'm like, these people are crazy. So,
well, it's anxiety, isn't it? You just get so anxious. You're like, you're lying here. Yeah.
But they tried to make me less anxious, I think. I think that was their thoughts with the music and happy nurses around and stuff like that. They tried to make me feel like everything was going to be okay. And it was. So thank God for them.
Once they'd done that operation and you've gone into recovery, and then when you woke up, what did they tell you then?
They told me that it was cancerous now because it came back so aggressively, and that I have to do treatment. So I did 6 weeks of chemo, the pill form at home, and 6 weeks of radiation.
And then you've had the treatment, you've come away, and then you're told, yes, you've got to now recover again, and get your life back.
It was different though. That time with my surgeon came up with a plan. He knew about the chemo pill before a lot of people knew about it. So he came up with a plan based on breast cancer, saying, we're going to try to get you with this pill 5 years out with nothing coming back. So he came up with a plan that was 5 days on the pill a month, the rest of the month off. Same thing the next month and then the month after that for 5 straight years. If nothing came back, he said he could technically say I was in remission. Not cured, and I made that 5 years.
Is this Tama Doll that you were on?
Tama Doll, yeah.
Tama Doll, that's it. I think we have a different name for it here in the UK, but so that's, and you were kind of like an experiment then. They were using you like in a trial.
Yeah. Well, my doctor he knew about it first over here, so he noticed around him knew about it. So which is good for me because I got to kind of be in a trial. We came up with the trial, so I was the only one doing it at the time.
So then you were getting better. They felt that they'd got enough. You were doing well.
Yeah.
And then how many years until then you got diagnosed again?
It was almost 2 years until they said they found something else growing. And I went through a whole bunch of the same treatment. They tried to put me back on that treatment, and it didn't work. Well, I did that for like another year, and it didn't work. So they tried something else. Some more pills. They threw different pills and infusion, which is like the needle. Did the IV form of the chemotherapy for an hour every other day. And that seemed to keep it away for a while. And then this new thing called Novacure. It's a company called Novacure. The device is called Optune, Optune. It's kind of new. People can look it up, but it's based on GBMs, glioblastomas, which is the worst tumor. I didn't have that kind of tumor, but they figured let's try this. Because it's effective with the worst tumor, maybe it'll get rid of yours. But I believe, personally, that it made me much weaker. There's no tumor growing. So what I'm doing now, because of all that, is just a lot of physical therapy, and I feel weak in the mornings, and got to get myself up and do some home exercises and try to get around as much as I can. I'm walking with a cane now, which is different.
So you are, at the moment, cancer-free?
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm just going through the after effects, the damage that it caused. I'm dealing with that now.
Would you say, in terms of what you found the most difficult, is it the after effects?
Absolutely. After they, inject you with these medicines and stuff like that, and radiation, the surgery is considered part of the treatment too. So the surgeries, the radiation, the chemotherapy, it's all poisons. So to get rid of something that's poison in your body, so obviously it's gonna get rid of bad cells, and it's gonna get rid of good cells. So I think that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Is dealing with the effects of losing those good cells due to what helped get rid of a lot of the bad cells, which is the process. And that's why I'm going to physical therapy right now. And it's a challenge, but if I want to get back to doing what I love to do, which is music and helping people understand with more awareness of this terrible disease, I have to do this physical therapy in order to get back on stage.
What kind of things do you do with the physiotherapy? Like, what kind of things do they get you?
You do so many different things. They try to get you to do some stretching first on a table, with a mat, and after that, they try to get you to do like simple things like, marching in place, things that you take for granted when you can do them just naturally, or walking upstairs, that kind of thing.
I mean, you've been through such an ordeal and everything you've had to go through with your body. I mean, this is like 15 odd years that you've had to go through all these treatments and everything. So now you're trying to keep fit, and you've kind of, you were doing the basketball, and you want to be able to do the things that you did before.
Well, I want to get back on stage and do what I love to do, music and all that. So, and speaking to people to get awareness out there for my foundation, Rhode Island Brain and Spinal Tumor Foundation. I haven't really been active with them because I haven't been able to get on stage. So
you do have something that, I mean, 3 years ago you did come here to England, and we were really lucky that you did actually come on the show with a film producer who you are doing a documentary at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah.
And one of I wanted to play today, but we can't because you have got an album that will come out with that film.
Yes, a score to it, yeah.
So so just to explain people a bit more about the film.
The name of the film is these 3 words, which means you have cancer, and it's been going on for 5 years now. So at first I just started about my story, then we picked up 4 other people besides me that were going through similar situations. 2 of them we lost already, unfortunately, which is very sad.
But when that does come out, I mean, the story that you guys have given, and and this has been going on for 5 years, the film, because obviously it's a long process of your journey.
Right.
So it needed to be from the beginning, and they needed to see you go through your situation, so that So I mean, it must have felt like this has gone on for ages. The film, you must be so excited about when it comes out.
Yeah, I am. I'm really excited because it's going to bring a lot of awareness to what needs awareness. The brain tumors, spinal tumors, any kind of cancers or non-cancers, either way, there's not enough funding, there's not enough awareness about how often this happens. A lot of the cancers, which is fine. I believe that all cancers should be cured, not just mine. But a lot of other cancers get more awareness, like breast cancer, which I'm all for. My mom, on her side, they have a risk of that. So I would definitely like to see that get a cure. But we don't have not nearly enough awareness and funding for brain tumors. So that's a big fight here and all over the world. It's a big fight about it. Yep.
And like the struggle that you've gone through, what would you say to someone that's just been diagnosed, or what would you tell that person that's been diagnosed, what you may have learned over the past however many years?
But I've learned a lot, but not doctor's words. I would say you're going to be fine. I hope you believe in something. You don't have to believe in my God, but you have to believe in something to get you through this. And you have to have a tremendous support around you. Now you can get through it alone, but it's not suggested that you do. Some people just don't have nobody to be around, and that's understandable from their own circumstances. Sometimes family gets a little scared of this. I know my family did for a little while, so they don't know how to handle it as good as the patient does sometimes, most times. So just be patient, be, diligent, do what your doctors say, unless your body's telling you no. If your body's telling you that this is not a good thing for your body, and your body will let you know, talk to your doctors, be honest with them, tell them exactly how you feel. Try not to leave an appointment without all your questions answered. And you're going to go home and you're going to think of another question probably that you didn't ask. So you can write down whatever you want to write before you go, and you're going to forget something anyways. But try your best to make sure you don't leave an appointment without all your questions answered, because the unknown can be the most terrible thing when you go home by yourself and you have all that time to think about everything. You start jumping on the computer looking for answers, which is the worst thing to do. I was told to make sure I rest a lot, but I was also told to be as active as possible, which is kind of like a contradiction. You want to get your rest, but if you feel tired, you don't really want to be active. So,
what kind of things do they expect you to do when you're active?
I don't know. Just don't sit around watching TV like all day. Try to get up and move, and maybe go outside for a walk if it's nice out. Don't sit in the house if you're by yourself too long. That's what they mean by being active. Or, exercising, or eating the right things too. Having a good diet, and there are nutritionists at the hospitals that will sit you down and tell you exactly what to eat, what's good for you, or what's not good for you, which is a challenge. If you just eat whatever you want, then it's going to be a challenge. But it's worth it. It's your life. You know what I mean? So
one of the things I know you did try was the vegan type kind of diet.
Yeah, I did for a little while. It was tough, but now I'm sticking to vegetarian stuff. So the vegan diet is a very strict diet. It's basically no animal products at all. Vegan or vegetarian, you can have cheese, you can have chicken, you can have fish every now and then, which provides you protein because you need that.
How did you build, that's something that, not everyone is into having vegan diets or to have, diet that is so different to what they're used to. How did you get used to that? What kind of things did you do to make the food taste a bit better? Did you find anything anywhere? Because if it's not... Me
personally, I just went online and looked up recipes for vegetarians. But I just went through a bunch of them. I think I went through 80 different recipes before I found one to make. So, but it's about how you cook and how you season things, or you can get help to, ask a nutritionist or to give you a guide of what you might need to spice things up and make it, or season things up to make it taste better, because it is a challenge for your body, but it's good for your body to not put bad stuff in there. Red meat is a no. Absolutely not. You can't. You gotta try to stay away from red meat because a tumor has a metabolism. We have metabolism when we work out. So the tumor feeds off that red meat and it grows off of that. So a tumor eats too.
So when you go and find out about the diet, are you immediately told about diets and stuff and how to live?
Not immediately, no.
Yeah, you had to find it yourself.
Yeah, I thought about it, and my director of the film, Paul Rosselli, he's a vegan, so he was the one that kind of told me about it. Not even a doctor. He was like, maybe you should think about changing your diet. So then I asked my doctor, that's a good idea. And it makes sense, what you're putting in your body. If the tumor has a metabolism, means it feeds on things that help it grow. Yeah. You don't want to put those things in your body.
It's hard because you don't get told every single thing, do you, when you're at the hospital? And it, something I've learned, and you've probably learned as well, is that every doctor is specific to what they do. They won't know every single part of what you're going through for all of your procedure and your treatment. They're going to know their area.
That's where you have to search it out.
Yeah, you do have to try and figure out yourself sometimes, because they won't know to tell you that, and yet you'll go and tell them and they'll be like, oh, that's a really good idea, and it's, you kind of think, well, why didn't you know that already? But they don't all know everything. So you went out and you branched out to find out about food and stuff. And I think that's something I've learned is about expanding, like, what's wrong with you. You know your own body. So if you feel there's a problem, you probably may have a problem, but it's definitely worth, even if you don't, is worth going and having a check, listen to your own feeling. Yeah.
I would definitely say if you're feeling any symptoms, which are like headaches, blurred vision, weakness, anything like that, definitely go get it checked out. No matter if you find out it's nothing or you find out it's something.
Yeah.
Don't sit on it thinking, oh, that's just a regular ache and pain. I felt that before. If it gets worse, then definitely get it checked out.
If people want to get in touch with you, I know you do have a Facebook page.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Just to tell, so people can find you under Ace Diamond.
Page 2, yeah.
Okay, and people can find you on there, and you will, you'll respond. You are on there.
Yep.
So people can have a look and keep track of, your music and things like that. Well, thank you for speaking to me.
Oh, thank you guys, and thank you for listeners and for listening. Thank you.
I'll see you soon.